Hi, my name's Connor, but first of all, Becky Boorman, she led this thing called 30-Hour Famine, and I have something for her.
You get a hug.
So, I did this 30-hour famine, and I am always fortunate to have food in front of me, and I noticed that I only fasted for 30 hours, but God fasted for 40 days. And some kids in parts of Africa don't choose how long they wait for food. And it's not only in Africa, it's here in Minnesota and Coon Rapids. They can't eat because some of them may be poor or they're hungry because they're homeless. I think that we are all spoiled because when we only fast for 30 hours, we get hungry after it. And we can eat right then and there. And we can eat as much as we want, wherever, whatever, and what we want to eat. We fast for 30 hours, but less fortunate people don't do that because they don't have a food option. I'm fortunate that I have learned that what other people go through, and I have more compassion for those people now, and how truly fortunate I am to have what I need, to have a church that helps me learn about those things too.
Kayla. Throughout the time during the 30-hour famine, we read Bible verses, the ones Becky just read, and we connected them with what we were learning about, namely child hunger around the world. The stat that really spoke to me was in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 35 through 40, especially the last part, which said, "Whatever you did for the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." And by participating in events like these, events like the 30-hour famine, raising money for nonprofit organizations, or even simply helping out in your own community, you're doing it for God. From something as big as going on mission trips halfway around the world to something as small and simple as giving someone a compliment, you're setting an example. You represent your faith in Jesus Christ by helping out as much as you are able and by encouraging others to do the same.
Hi, I'm Ari. We just did the 30-hour famine, of course. And, well, before I started, I thought, I would be a little hungry. It'd be pretty annoying not to eat. I thought it would be pretty easy, though. And now I know that it actually really hurts my stomach to not eat. It felt like I'd been punched in my stomach all day long. And I felt really sleepy with low energy, and it was really hard to concentrate on Becky. I've learned that a lot of kids and people only get one meal a day, and that 7,000 kids die a day from starvation. In the United States, mainly, we take food for granted, but whereas the kids that, maybe in Africa take food as a privilege. And I'm really grateful to have food on my plate, a sturdy house, clean water. I can eat and order whatever I want to at a restaurant. And I had a meal waiting for me after these 30 hours, but technically that's the reality. And I challenge you to walk away thinking about how if you're a mom and you go to a restaurant and you let your kid pick what they want to order and they don't think the food's good, to make sure they order something that they like or something, because I encourage you not to waste, because we tend to be really picky about what we get, and I'm sure that a kid in Africa that only gets one meal a day or one meal in 3 days would gladly eat. I know that I pick off my onions and my chunky tomatoes off my chili, so thank you.
$30 doesn't seem like a long time. In 30 hours, you can bike to Milwaukee. In 30 hours, you can drive to Los Angeles. And in 30 hours, you can probably binge watch 4 seasons of your favorite show on Netflix. But in 30 hours, the youth group fasted to learn about hunger and to raise money to support World Vision's fight against hunger. God calls us to serve the least of these, and often when I think of the least of these, I think of children, especially the ones who suffer from hunger and live in extreme poverty. In Matthew, Jesus says that whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me. Imagine seeing Jesus instead of that hungry kid, or imagine seeing Jesus instead of that homeless guy on the corner. This imagery for me compels me to want to do anything and everything I can do to help them. Our verses from James say that faith without action is dead. A few verses later in James, it says that even the demons believe in Jesus and shudder at the thought. When we have faith but don't act, do we really have faith? Our faith in God is supposed to change the way we think and the way we act, and if it doesn't, our faith is incomplete. This weekend, the youth group took their faith and put it into action by participating in the 30-hour famine. We've raised just over $400 to help fight world hunger, and now we want to ask you for help. If you feel called to support what we've done this weekend, please consider donating to us to help others. On the envelopes in the pew, just please mark them the 30-hour famine. Thank you so much. And now if you'll stand and join us in the response hymn, God of Grace and God of Glory, number 577, or on the screen.